Wake up in the morning. Wake up, Atlanta. It's time for coffee. Talk presented by Spotify. Fresh vibes, real talk.
Let's get started, shall we?
Yes, 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 ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another exciting podcast here today. Of course, this is Coffee Talk presented and powered by Spotify. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, boy howdy, welcome back to another exciting episode. And if you are tuned in to our LinkedIn Live and Instagram Live early access the night before, I want to say thank you, but then I also want to say that we apologize from last night's episode, yesterday's episode. For some reason, our internet wasn't doing the very, very best. We streamed the shows, and for some reason, the stream kind of froze us up. We noticed a lot of people tuned in last night, and excuse me, they could hear us, and they still listen to the show, but they couldn't see it, right? Because the video quality or the part of the video of the podcast froze. So I got to say to a lot of people, we're sorry about that. I caught it after the stream ended. And after that stream ended, we saw it, and I'm like, this is not good. So again, I do say my apologies to everybody that are fans of our show. But I always say this to a lot of people that unfortunately technology is not 100% efficient. There's going to be bugs. There's going to be some technical issues that happen with technology. Technology, that's just something that we dabble on into. So I apologize for that. I really am sorry. But hopefully, when we get ready, when we're streaming this portion, there's some ways I got the bugs kinked out and fixed out as well. I am going to try to see about how much length can we upload to Instagram, because Instagram you could do a full upload instead of streaming it. We'll see how that turns out. But again, we're back with another exciting episode. Tuesday night early access, and also on Wednesday, hump day for everybody out there. So happy midweek, ladies and gentlemen. We hope that everyone is having a fantastic week. I know I've been having some very, very fantastic weeks. We've been in the studio, and I got to say this because Kennedy Lucas Animation Studios, we're on fire right now in a very, very, very good way. Of course, we've got about 5 new episodes of City Never Sleeps Part 2 to be released, with the remaining of March and a little bit of April. And that will conclude season 1 of City Never Sleeps. That is a new animated mini series that is available on, if you go to Spotify, of Spotify for video, that is, or our YouTube channels at Kennedy Lucas Animation Studios. You can watch the full-fledged videos. Also, it's on our Facebook accounts, our Facebook pages, on K.L.P. Entertainment Filmworks, and also on Instagram. Each episode is about 4 to 5 minutes long, so it's like a mini series. And of course, the studio has been cooking up new episodes to as we conclude the rest of March and April with season 1 of City Never Sleeps Part 2 remake reimagined. And the reason why we're finishing that up is because I might have lied to a lot of people out there when we said production for the new revamped Guardian starts summer of 2025, and it technically kind of does, right? We've got the people, we've got our cast members, our actors are getting cast up, so that part might start in the summertime. But we have started early pre-production of Guardians. I think on either today or tomorrow, Thursday, we're going to upload a snippet. One of my photographers, one of my camera people caught me. We were editing a scene. We were testing and editing a scene, and I think I want to share that because let me tell you guys something. And I'm not going to talk so much about Guardians because it's still super super early, but this next movie of mine, Guardians, is going to be something spectacular. It's going to be what we call a blockbuster for us indies. We're going all out when it comes down to it. Of course, new animated style, new technology that we invest in with K.L.P. Entertainment Filmworks. Me and David Hayes, we're back into the studio. David Hayes is a longtime composer and a good friend of mine. We're both composers, so we're composing the music, the original soundtrack for this next new movie. I just hope everyone loves it when we get ready to have it out. Again, that probably won't be out to like late 2026, maybe 2027. But just the thought and the ideas and the pre-planning that's going on into this movie is gonna be dope. I can't preface that enough. It's going to be dope. I can't say too much about it because we're super duper early when it comes down to Guardians. But it's very fantastic when it comes down to that as well. Animating animation is just something that I'm very proud of Kennedy Lucas Animation Studios and everybody that works for Kennedy Lucas Animation Studios because it's a revamp. We've changed a lot. We came a long way when it comes down to the animating, right? It's been a long time coming, but we're finally getting the technology. We're finally getting the understanding of animation, and we just hope that everyone loves the animation that we have coming out from Kennedy Lucas Animation Studios. Okay, so very excited for this episode as well. I did mention in last yesterday's episode about wanting for our GGC alumni. If you are a GGC alumni, if you're in the School of Business, School of Nursing, School of Science Technology, School of Education, they do have their alumni brick program open right now. I encourage everyone to go out there and purchase a brick. What they do is they take a brick and you get to put your full name on it and the class that you graduated from GGC. You again, it's only $100. It's really affordable. $100 for a brick, and then they lay it in front of their new brand spanking new communication center. I bought a brick a couple of days ago. I can't wait until my brick is laid on the ground in front of convocation, and I'm gonna take a picture of it. I'm gonna share my GGC stories. That's probably gonna be like a podcast episode of just that specific thing. But I do say to a lot of people, please, that's something is really cool because once that brick is there forever. Right? It doesn't go anywhere. It's there forever, and it just shows that you are a proud alumni of GGC. I wanted to preface that because that's just one of the things that I said in yesterday's episode, but I wasn't able to. I wasn't able to do like the social media part simply because the stream went haywire and things got frozen, so I wasn't able to really talk about that kind of thing. So now, the next thing that I wanted to talk about as the opener of Coffee Talk presented by Spotify. Again, like I mentioned, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you're just now joining us, if you're just now clicking on this part of the episode, we are Coffee Talk presented by Spotify. Apple has introduced the iPhone 17e starting at $600. Let me tell you something. Rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat and recycle. I look forward to today. About today is early in the morning by the time we're airing the show. But today, March 4th, Apple will have their brand new keynote, their brand new Apple event live from New York. So that's different, right? That's a little different because usually when it goes down to an Apple event, they're in California. They're in the Apple's quarters, right? They're going to be in New York this time around. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of things around the Apple store in New York. And ladies and gentlemen, like I said, I just clowned them for this phone, but the Apple Store on Fifth Ave in New York is very spectacular. I do say to a lot of people, if you happen to be in New York, you want to go to the Apple Store. I've been there 3 times because I've been to New York 3 times. Hopefully, I can go back to New York next year for street style number 5. So just a little tidbit there. But I'm really excited for when it comes down to people going to New York. Again, the Apple Store is the store that you gotta just check out when you are in New York. But I clown Apple because just a little bit because I'm an Apple head. I get what they're trying to do. I feel like the E series was cheaper than $600, right? And it could just be me, right? So when I got to college in 2015, I had a phone. I had a Samsung phone that year, but okay, so it was late 2015 going into 2016. 2016 is when I switched my Samsung phone to an Apple phone. And at that time, it was college years, and I didn't have that much money. College years, who has a lot of money when you start college, right? I didn't have a whole lot of money starting college, right? So I ended up getting the iPhone SE, right? In the 2016 models of the iPhone SE. And I'm sure it's here in the studio somewhere in a drawer. It's probably in my office somewhere in a drawer. Good phone, by the way. Back in the day, it was a great phone, right? It was small, it was compact, but it got what I need out of it. And people, my college friends, they clowned me for it because it was the SE, the iPhone SE back then. It was very very small. They clown me for it. I say, hey, don't clown me because this phone was very inexpensive. Of course, I feel that that phone was $300 back in the day in 2016, the iPhone SE. And basically what the C line, and I remember the iPhone C, right? You remember the iPhone C? They say it was for iPhone color. Some people say it was for iPhone cheap, right? The C series and the iPhone E series was a lighter version of the iPhone, the less expensive version of the iPhone. But it's crazy enough because I just remember the E series being $200 to $300, and now this E series for the iPhone 17e is $600. I mean, I kind of get it because of the economy right now. You're not going to find anything cheaper when it comes down to it. Unfortunately, things are just dramatically expensive when it comes down to our economy right now. Things you're not going to get it for any cheaper than that right now, unfortunately. But I just kind of feel like, yeah, this is cool. If you're going to spend about $600 for an iPhone 17e, you might as well go all out and get the phone. It's not that much of a difference, right? You might be saving what, $400 off. And some people are gonna buy it, right? Some people are gonna buy it because hey, they're not gonna spend $1,000 on a phone. They're gonna spend a less expensive version, so they're gonna go for it. So Apple knows from the consumer base right now, people are going to do the math. You're going to spend $1,000, over $1,000 for an iPhone, or are you going to spend $600 for an iPhone if you're trying to save money? So the math is mathing when it comes down to that. But if you can afford the $1,000 phone, you might as well just go for the $1,000 phone. And I just kind of wish that Apple catered more when it comes down to their colors. And I know that's what Apple does is they give us three mainstream colors, and then the next event they introduce the same phone, but now it comes in red, it comes in green, it comes in navy blue, it comes in gold, it comes in rose gold. So it's part of Apple's plan. I do think a lot of people are starting to smarten up a little bit when it comes down to these products. Obviously, I've got the iPhone 16 Pro Max. I'm keeping this phone for a while because it still works. Although, when you update the phone, and I got the liquid glass, when I first updated the liquid glass on my phone, it's didn't work as fast as it used to do. I am still on the belief that again, and this is I'm a sucker for it because I'm an Apple head. I have the MacBook, the iPhone, the Mac Studio in the studio, my Apple Watch. I'm still a Mac guy and an Apple guy, but I can say that I do think and I do believe that Apple does it to where they update their phones, and when the new phones come out, our current phones somehow surprisingly they start to act funny. They start to act slow. The charging doesn't work, so you can get forced to buy the new phone. Um, I do think a lot of people are starting to wising up when it comes down to their purchases right now. Phones are expensive. Things are so expensive. I'm sure Apple will make their sale. I'll start by saying prefacing that Apple's going to make their sale, but I don't think they're going to make the sale that they think they are simply because we're just in a tough spot right now. A lot of people, and I've seen it in the streets too in Atlanta, a lot of people are holding very, very tight when it comes down to their money right now. Right? Everybody's saving every dollar that they can as of right now because things are crazy, crazy expensive. That's what I think is going on. Um, but I look forward to later today, later ish today. This today, Apple's going to have their event. I think in about the next hour or two, they're going to have their event. I'm going to, of course, watch it, and then next episode, I'll do my full review on how I think Apple's event has gone. But I do say that again, ladies. I just think the new products are coming out. Yes, I'm not gonna upgrade my phone. My MacBook Pro still works fine, and that's the 2024 version. My Apple Watch Ultra 2 still works fine. My Mac Studio works fine. Right. I don't have the urge to update these newer technology stuff. Um, But kudos to Apple. I thought about getting the Apple Vision, but I wasn't about to pay that $4,000 price tag. I ended up getting the MetaQuest for 300, right? If I wanted to immerse myself in VR. But shout out to Apple. Like I say, I hope it. I hope it works. I really do. I really hope that they get ready and they work on this. But it's up there. It's up there. And I mentioned earlier just now that things are going crazy. Things Companies are shifting, companies are growing, companies are doing layoffs. Things are expensive, as I mentioned. Papa John's, get this, Hope. Shout out to Hope. We got her story coming up next. Papa John's to close 300 stores as it moves to cut cost and boost growth. It is real, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of these restaurants, a lot of these mainstreams, these big corporations, a lot of them are doing some cuts right now. It's crazy how many cuts they're doing. Um, I remember this was way before college. I think this was during high school years. And I remember it because, and this is part of the good story that I'm about to tell. I remember it because this is part of the years that I've had hard times. Yes, Kennedy has hard times. You guys see it on the gram that I'm got a lot of things going and I'm very successful. But I never forgot the hard times that I've had to endure. At the time of college years, I needed to make some money for some personal reasons, family personal reasons. And I remember with my 2003 Ford Focus, ooh, man, throwback. I delivered for Papa John's. I did. How long did I deliver for Papa John's? 3 weeks. And I called it quits after that because I just said, bunk this. I'm going to find something else to do. Delivery service for a pizza place is very, very hard, right? I remember having quite a few events as I worked in different positions and we were ordered pizza for Papa John's and the Papa John's delivery person looked tired. They looked exhausted. They looked like they're fed up. Their car didn't look the greatest, right? It's hard times when you're doing delivery. So that's why when folks do delivery, and I even say it now when it comes down to DoorDash or Uber Eats, right? I give people grace of delivery drivers grace because that is a tough job to do. Not to say that it's hard to do it because you're just driving and delivering, but you're utilizing your vehicle a lot, right? You're tired, you're driving all over the place. You might be in some sketchy neighborhoods. I remember again I remember it because I remember the hard times. My 2003 Ford Focus that always needed maintenance, but we needed a car for delivery service. Smelling like pizza every day, every time I got home, I smelled like pepperoni pizza. And doesn't matter how hard I take a shower, I can still have the smell of Papa John's pizza. And working in the store is not the easiest. A lot of chaos is going on. Pizza has to be done at a certain time. And it was very, very hard. And people that worked at that one location that I worked in, people looked like they were fed up. Like they just didn't want to do this shit anymore. And I'm like, okay, so this is what it's like to work in customer service and to work in a restaurant. Absolutely not. I will never do this again. Now I say that because years later I worked in hotels. If I had to choose working in a restaurant or working in a hotel, I would choose working in a hotel. Honestly, as front desk agent, supervisor, maintenance guy, I'm gonna choose hotel service, and I've done that for 3 years, and that job wasn't bad. I had to grow. I got my degree, and I've overcame that job now, but that was a fun job. Wasn't that bad. But to see Papa John worked in Papa John's, that was a tough ass job, right? I don't recommend it. I don't recommend anybody working for a restaurant because it's a lot that goes on to. I see it on TikTok, I see it on Facebook. Some people do work those jobs. And I got to say to you, if you work those type of jobs, I'm going to give you a round of applause because that's a tough job to do. That's why when I go to restaurants, whether it's and we just went to PF Chains, I took my mama to PF Chains. Shout out to Yolanda. I try to treat my waitress, whoever's waiting on us, treat them with kindness, treat them with respect, tip them really really well because they're not making that much money on top of it. Not as a shame, not like a hate, but that's just that's tough. It's a tough job to get into. So I try to do that. I say that to my fellas. There's a trick for you, lady. For my fellas, if you're taking your lady out, you want to treat the waitress like you treat your girl. You want to treat them with respect and dignity and happiness, and don't give them a hard time. I've also find that if you disrespect waitress just trying to show face for your girl, the girl gets turned off, right? So I try to treat everybody with kindness and respect, especially my waiters and waitresses of these restaurants because it is a tough job to do. Um, I will never go back to that, but I understand that Papa John's closing some locations because let me tell you, I know from a business, I got two business degrees, right? So I know a little bit about this, the business aspect of it. You know, it costs money to run a store, right? It costs a lot of money to run a pizza joint, right? You got to pay for bread, you got to pay for the wings, breadsticks, ingredients, sanitation. You got to be up to code. You got to pay your delivery people. You got to tip on top of your delivery people. You've got to maintain the store itself. It has to be maintained at a certain level for Papa John's corporate, right? It is a lot of money to maintain a restaurant store, right? So I get why Papa John's is closing nearly 300 restaurants because times are hard, right? People are finding different alternatives, right? A lot of healthy people, they may not go for the Papa John's. They might go for a vegan option of pizza, right? Some people may not like. Now, personally, for me, if you ask me my type of favorite pizza, it's always going to be Papa John's. I people got to understand Papa John's to me is the best pizza, right? I don't do Domino's. Can I eat Domino's? Yes, I can, but I don't do Domino's as much. Little Caesars, ugh. I can't stand Little Caesars. You not gonna catch me eating no nasty ass Little Caesars. Now, I choose Domino's over Little Caesars. Pizza Hut is pretty good. It's Papa John's number one. Pizza Hut, Domino's, CC's Pizza, Stevie B's Pizza, Jet's Pizza, and then there's Little Caesars, right? And that's number 7. I'm never gonna eat that. It's just that's Little Caesars not that great. Um, I will pay a premium for a pie, right? Have I had pizza in a long in a short term? No, I haven't. I've been on a health kick. I haven't been eating like that, like pizza and stuff that much. Can I have pizza? Sure, yeah. But the cheese, I say to a lot of people, I do have a thyroid issue. Hope in the audience, so I try to avoid cheese as much as I can. Um, but it costs a lot of money, right? So I understand. I understand the realm of it. I understand that hey, they're trying to cut these costs when it comes down to it, right? But I hope Papa John's. And what sucks about this too, they're closing 300 restaurants. That means job cuts, right? Some people that still work these jobs because they need to make some sort of income, now their jobs are gone. It got that bad in America that a restaurant of Papa John's caliber, if your store closes and you work for Papa John's, I'm not saying it's a bad job, but you work for Papa John's and now that store is getting closed, that's what tells you that the world is getting serious. It's getting rough out here. You mean to tell me that if somebody works for Papa John's restaurant and they say, okay, we're closing the doors, and now you got to find another job, that's going to be tough, right? That tells you how bad things go. And these shareholders, let me tell you something. These shareholders of Papa John's, they don't give a good goddamn. They're closing their stores. They got shares, right? They've got stocks and bonds. They're gonna cash out. And they gonna be good, right? They not gonna care about the workers that work. That thank you for working with us. Here's your last paycheck. Sorry, you're out of luck. Shit out of luck. You're gonna have to figure this thing out yourself. That's just the unfortunate thing of it. I feel really really sad for Papa John workers who are working on this. It goes to show you corporate, these corporate restaurants, they don't give a good goddamn about us, right? That's why you gotta you got to do it. You got to do it. And speaking of just doing it, ladies and gentlemen, as I turn over to Hope for the story today, I wanted to give a shout out real quick to Crunch. Of course, I have to always do a shout out to them. Of course, it's lock in season, right? It's lock in season when it comes down to it. I went to the gym yesterday and I saw quite a few of my favorite trainers. I think now all of the trainers that train there, I like all of them now. All of them are very friendly. All of them are very nice. Look. I'm going to be a cheerleader for Crunch Snellville. I'm going to be a cheerleader for Crunch Snellville because when you can say that you like all the trainers, except for one trainer, I don't. She doesn't train me, but I don't like her in particular. I just wish her attitude changed. But besides the point, when you're able to say that you like all of your trainers at the gym, it tells you something. That is a gym worth going to, and that is a specialty gym that I'm always going to be a great advocate of, and I'm always going to show love, no matter what. I know they get tired of it. They might get tired of me shouting them out. They might get tired of me posting them and tagging them on social media. Damn it, I can't help it. Crunch right now, it is lock in season, right? It's the first of the month, right? We're getting into the spring setting, right? I went in there. I saw shout out to Jordan and Caleb, right? I saw them. They're on. They're putting their schedules of their who they're going to train next. They looked locked in. They looked locked in. I went over there to get a stretchy band, and I said, "Hey, y'all." And then, of course, they said, "Hey," and we had a chat. But I joked like, "You guys look serious right now. What's going on?" And they say, "Hey, it's lock-in season. We're getting booked, right? A lot of people trying to get their summer bodies right." Right, a lot of people trying to get it in there, trying to do what they can because summer is on the horizon, ladies and gentlemen. We got to go through spring, but a lot of people want to go through that spring. A lot of the men, they want to show their muscles and let their muscles breathe in the air, in the spring air, and wear shorts. Right, I bought some shorts from Express a couple days ago. I can't wait to wear those. And my ladies that go to the gym, they're locking in because they want to bust out that spring sun dress or skirt or pants, whatever rocks your boat, ladies. Crunch Snellville, they are locked in with their training. And I'm here to say that because it's very, very fantastic. I love to see it. I love them. But this is why I bring them up simply because they're running a promotion. Of course, just try it, right? I say to a lot of people, just try it. Now, they are offering a free gym pass. You can try the gym that you've been searching for with the state of the art equipment. Let me tell you, Crunch Snellville, they're getting ready for that $2 million renovation, by the way. Can't wait for that. That's going to be awesome. Miles of cardio, Olympic power racks, and world famous group fitness. Of course, it's the industry leading personal training, the Hit Zone training zone, and the relax and recover amenities that you keep you progressing. Members, again, they're starting the price of $10 a month. Let me tell you, that's not bad. That is really, really not bad at crunch.com. Over 500 plus locations worldwide. I will say though, here's what I'm going to say as well. I do say to a lot of people, if you are thinking about getting a membership, of course, I pay the $21 membership simply because if I'm traveling around the state of Georgia doing shows or whatnot, I am able to go to any Crunch facility that I can with my membership. So it does add a little bit of benefit if I'm somehow not able to make it to Snellville because I'm on the other side of Georgia doing something. Who knows what? I get to go to the Crunch wherever in the state of Georgia. So I do recommend that as well. It is one of those things that you will not be disappointed in as well. Shout out to Crunch because let me tell you, they got me. They said, join the 3-day challenge, Hope. They said no workouts on January 29th, 30th, and 31st. I checked my calendar. I was like, oh, can we not do that? I'm like, wait a minute. There are no February 29th and 30th and 31st. I want to say that there is a 29th because my big sister, shout out to you, Kendria, happy birthday. Her birthday's on 29th. But like I say, ladies and gentlemen, I'm always going to be an advocate for Crunch Snellville. That's the promotion that they got going on right now. Of course, you can try it. And of course, they got the 30-day free and you can join for they had it for $1, but I think you can do enrollment for $0 down as of today. So shout out to them as well. We love you guys as well. So Hope, you're up, and coming up after that, I'll wrap the show towards the end of it. Take it away, Hope.
Wake up, y'all! It is now time for the front page news of the day on Coffee Talk presented by Spotify. Yeah!
Good morning, Kennedy. And folks, welcome back to Coffee Talk. Here's our front page news. Bill Clinton was on camera for the Epstein depositions, and his lawyer, Cheryl Mills, caught the attention of Meek Mill. Meek Mill is someone who always seems to go viral with what he says on social media. More often than not, it feels like fans are piling on a bit. No matter what he does or says, you can be sure that there will be some criticism. Most of the time, it simply isn't warranted. On Monday, Meek garnered some attention for something that some fans won't be super enthusiastic about, given the sensitive nature of the topic at hand. Of course, we are talking about the Epstein files. As part of the Epstein investigation, Bill and Hillary Clinton are being deposed. These depositions are being filmed and have been turned into a classic case of political theater. With that in mind, the recent deposition involving Bill Clinton has been going viral for a few reasons. One of those reasons involves his longtime attorney, Cheryl Mills. Mills has decades of experience under her belt and was quite vocal during the deposition. For those who were unfamiliar, her command of the law was impressive, and it certainly piqued the curiosity of Meek Mill. Add HNHH as a preferred source on Google. Bill Clinton was on camera for the Epstein depositions, and his lawyer, Cheryl Mills, caught the attention of Meek Mill. Meek Mill is someone who always seems to go viral with what he says on social media. More often than not, it feels like fans are piling on a bit. No matter what he does or says, you can be sure that there will be some criticism. Most of the time, it simply isn't warranted. On Monday, Meek garnered some attention for something that some fans won't be super enthusiastic about, given the sensitive nature of the topic at hand. Of course, we are talking about the Epstein files. As part of the Epstein investigation, Bill and Hillary Clinton are being deposed. These depositions are being filmed and have been turned into a classic case of political theater. With that in mind, the recent deposition involving Bill Clinton has been going viral for a few reasons. One of those reasons involves his longtime attorney, Cheryl Mills. Mills has decades of experience under her belt and was quite vocal during the deposition. For those who were unfamiliar, her command of the law was impressive, and it certainly piqued the curiosity of Meek Mill. Read more, 50 Cent and T.I.'s beef. Everything you need to know about the feud, Freestar Meek Mill, with praise for Cheryl Mills. I want her to be my lawyer. What is her name? Meek asked. Seriously. There were some who found it odd that Meek Mill didn't know who Cheryl Mills was to begin with. You can't really blame him for that. People don't carry around encyclopedias on former presidential attorneys everywhere they go. Others were a bit surprised that Meek would want to associate with an attorney who is defending Bill Clinton amid the Epstein situation. Whatever the case may be, this is yet another example of how Meek cannot seem to win when it comes to public perception. Whatever the case may be, the Epstein situation remains one of the biggest stories in the world. Although the war in Iran has taken precedence, there are still folks who are zeroed in on Epstein. Overall, it is a rough story, albeit one that must be told. Next up, DJ Academics is known for his rants on stream, and recently, he decided to go off on women like Brittany Renner, India Love, and even Cassie. DJ Academics is someone who is consistently very critical of those who end up in the news cycle. Speaking frankly, there is no doubt that he has targeted women over the years. His comments about certain women have been tasteless, and he has been called out for it. This reputation certainly won't be going away anytime soon. Especially when you consider the rant he went on during his most recent stream. It was here that Academics spoke at length about the recent trend of women turning to God. About a year ago, Brittany Renner converted to Islam after years of her relationships being in the public eye. Meanwhile, India Love recently came out and said that she would be turning to God. She noted that she felt taken advantage of in her youth. This is why she wanted to decenter men and find purpose elsewhere. While these are certainly noble pursuits, Academics believes there is cynicism behind them. He provided that cynical perspective on stream, and there is no denying that some will take offense to what he is saying. As you can see in the clip above, Academics accuses India Love and Brittany Renner of being whores who are only using God as a way to rebrand themselves. He also goes on to say that if he were to check Cassie's Instagram account, he would probably see something similar. It is an assumption that is most certainly rooted in some kind of misogyny. It's hard not to feel Ock's hatred of women seething through.
Turn it up. They shoot. They score. Top of the hour sports talk on Coffee Talk. Presented by Spotify.
We back.
We don't give a fuck.
The NBA playoffs are right around the corner. The 2025-26 postseason begins on April 14th as the three-day SoFi NBA play-in tournament rounds out the remaining playoff picture. The playoffs officially start on April 18th and run through mid-June. With the end of the regular season in sight, teams are beginning to clinch postseason berths, while others are making their plans for the NBA draft lottery on May 10th. The Oklahoma City Thunder became the first team to clinch a spot in the postseason after beating the Dallas Mavericks on Sunday, March 1st to move to 47-15. If the Thunder are able to hold off the San Antonio Spurs and hold on to the number one spot, it will be the second straight season they finish as the top seed in the Western Conference. While Oklahoma City was the first to clinch, several other teams are on the precipice of the postseason. Stay tuned to find out which teams have clinched what as the regular season nears an end. What they've clinched? At least a spot in the postseason. The Oklahoma City Thunder became the first team to clinch at least a spot in the NBA's postseason on March 1st with a win over the Dallas Mavericks. Last season's Thunder team clinched the top spot in the Western Conference before battling through the playoffs and winning the NBA Finals. Oklahoma City is attempting to become the first back-to-back champion since the 2017-18 Golden State Warriors. LeBron James accomplished another first in his illustrious career with Saturday's 129-101 win over the Golden State Warriors. The first father-daughter road trip of his 23 years in the league. Good win, James said as he walked off the court and through the tunnel at Chase Center, holding hands with his 11-year-old daughter, Shuri. Good luck charm right here, 1-0. LA had been on a 3-game losing streak prior to Saturday's game, and all three were painful in their own way. The first loss was a 111-89 blowout to the rival Boston Celtics. Then there was a botched final play versus the Orlando Magic, and finally a missed last-second shot against an undermanned Phoenix Suns team after the Lakers blew a double-digit lead. The vibes were different Saturday, with the Lakers singing happy birthday to Luka Doncic at the team hotel and presenting him with a cake in the shape of a basketball jersey, with half the icing depicting LA's colours and the other half representing the Slovenian national team. And then at the arena, they had a new player on the court pre-game, with Jury doing dribbling drills along with her dad and even throwing him a lob for a dunk. I miss a lot of moments, spending time with my kids because of my career, said James, who has 3 children with his wife, Savannah, including Bronny, 21, and Bryce, 18. Over the course of my career, any time I got moments with them, either individually, 2 of them, 3 of them all together, whatever the case may be, it's always special for me. So to have my daughter want to come on the road and be with me is special. James said he and Jury spent Friday as tourists in San Francisco visiting Alcatraz and the Golden Gate Bridge and getting dinner together. It's definitely softened me up over the last 11 years. James said of being a girl dad. I had 2 boys to begin with, but getting a little girl 11 years ago, man, it's definitely softened me up. So it's special to have her. It's a different type of love. If anybody got girls and boys, it's a different type of love that you share. It's tough love when it comes to my boys. I yell at them and stuff, whatever. They take it. They know how to approach it. It's different. It's a little softness with my daughter, so it's pretty cool. While Jury showed some dribbling skills and even hit a trick shot behind her back from the foul line, James said she won't be following in the family business. She's a volleyball player, he said. Don't get my wife mad. My wife is done with this basketball. She's done with it. She's a volleyball player, but she's been around the game for a while, so she does got good handles. She got a good shooting form too, but my wife ain't playing that. Not another one. She said, that's it, that's it. Now, the question is how many more road games Jury can make it to, especially if her presence will spark L.A. to play the way it did against the Warriors. She's going to Denver, quipped Austin Reeves in the locker room, referring to the Lakers' next road game on Thursday against the Denver Nuggets. Said James, don't say that too loud because she'll definitely be like, Dad, can I go to Denver? She already said, when is the next road trip?
Thank you so very much, everybody, cast and crew. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap it up on early access of Coffee Talk presented by Spotify. Or if you're catching us on Wednesday at 8 a.m., thank you all so very much. We hope that you guys enjoyed this show. Again, everybody who tuned in early access yesterday and the stream wasn't great, the video froze and you couldn't see the full thing. I'm so sorry about that. But you can watch and listen to us on any audio platform you get your podcast from, whether it's Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Apple Podcasts. Can't wait for that. Apple Podcasts, they're getting ready to roll out the video component of their app. So Apple Podcasts, you're going to be able to watch the video version of our podcast on Apple Podcasts. Again, it's a free app that comes already on your iPhone. So very, very stoic about that. I'm ready for that. But wherever you get your podcast from, you can listen to us as well when it comes down to it. Everyone have a great hump day, a great midday or midweek, and we hope that everyone tune in for tomorrow's show because we'll be back with another grand new episode. As I talk about Apple's event, is going to be tomorrow, early access tomorrow, and then if you catch it on Thursday at 8 a.m., it'll be available there as well. Again, everyone have a great day. Love, peace, and respect from our entire cast and crew for Coffee Talk presented by Spotify. Have a great day, everyone. Peace, and we'll see y'all next time.
We bring in good energy.
This has been Coffee Talk presented by Spotify. From our cast, we thank you for listening.
Yeah.